Hi, good evening.
Hi, good
Good
evening.
evening.
Alan, hi, Peter.
Good day.
Right, Peter, you want to test your sound?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay,
On
awesome,
Mac.
man.
Awesome.
Right, yes, loud and clear. Okay, great. Now, welcome to Investors Coffee Time tonight, 8 p.m. And today we have a special session on angel investing. So I'll let Alan and Peter basically explain to you guys what is basically an angel investor and what they do, all right, and how you can be part of the network as well. So before we start, if you can hear us, can you just say yes, so that you're able to hear us and also look at the screen clearly. All right. So we have people still streaming in. Hello, Wendy, welcome. Jitinder, Vijan, Ken, YFCO, Casey Lee, Jody Lau, Cherry Kwan. Hi, welcome to Investors Coffee Time. Yeah, so today we have two special guests from the Malaysian Business Angel Network. All right, we have the president, Mr. Alan Lim, and also the committee member, Peter Wee, to share with us what is angel investing is all about. Okay, thank you, Roslan. Thank you, Zenki. Thank you, Jatinder. Okay, we are all ready to go. Now, before we start, just some announcements before we let Alan and Peter present today. Okay, first of all, as usual, we have our disclaimer. Whatever that is being discussed here today is basically informational and educational purposes. All right, it's not intended as any investment advice or whatsoever. And if you do need an advice, please look for a professional and licensed investment advisor. Okay. And if you are new to us, we are running Copy Time every night at 8 p.m. So hopefully you're able to join us and also share with your friends if you find these sessions useful, right? So we'll be with you guys, and we have a lineup of different people in the industry, especially in the investment industry and also in the business industry, to share with you their opinions, their experiences, and so on and so forth. All right. So if you are new, please like our Facebook page and follow us, right, so that you can get notification whenever we go live. All right. And we also stream this on YouTube. So please click subscribe to also get notification on our Equity Striker YouTube page. And for those who haven't signed up for our Equity Striker platform or ET platform, please WhatsApp us at 603-8408-2070. And Alan and Peter has also agreed to let you guys download the presentation slides today. So you can go to this number as well at 603-8408-2070. You just have to WhatsApp us and just follow the instructions there to get the downloads and also to get the free access to our ET platform. All right. Okay, so Peter, Alan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've been listening to your show. Now we are on the other side.
Thank you for listening to our show.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today to to share with us what angel investing is all about. So I believe you guys have a presentation prepared, right? And maybe you can also explain to us first of all what is an angel investor is all about, and how one can be an angel investor. All right, so over to you.
Okay, thank you. We got just a few slides. We thought maybe Alan and we were thinking maybe we should do a little bit more dialogue after those slides. So we will cap it to about 20, 25 minutes max. Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. While Peter get the slides ready, maybe I can get this going. First thing is that what we will be going through, I will explain a little bit about who angel is, what does angel do in our daily life, and I will also be talking a little bit about the association, which is the Malaysian Business Angel Network, the association that represents the angel investors, and I would also like to share something that is really good for those aspiring angel investor out there, I will be sharing about the tax incentives that has been put in place by the Malaysian government for those that are investing into the startup industry that a lot of people are not aware of. So we will be going through all that. So if you can just help me to bring out the slides, we can quickly run through them.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's up now.
Okay. We're set to go.
So,
Yeah, shall we go?
Thank you, Peter. Yeah, that is the Malaysian Business Angel. So as I said, I'll be doing some introduction to the MBank, our role, and our support to the industry. But first of all, let me just give you a definition of what angel investors is. Basically, angel investor is the affluent individuals who invest into businesses that is during the very, very early stages. And most of the time, the type of businesses the angel investors are invested into are in the area of technology space, or we call it the startup industry. So just to give you a flavor of what it is all about, so if you can look at this, there is a 4 quadrant there. The first quadrant is the seed startup, second is early stage of the company, then a growth stage, and finally the exit, right? So where does the angel investors play a role? Angel investors play a role in the first 2 quadrants, most of the time in the first quadrant. So if you start a startup in Malaysia, for example, we call it the 3F. So you will raise money from the 3F. The first is the family, second the friends, and the third we call it the fools. FOOLS, fools. So angels investors are categorized under the category of fools. So that's the role that we play there. And most of the time, the investment in this early seed stage is in the range of 10,000 to 100,000 per investment, and for the equity stake of 5 to 10%. And if the startup grows further and needed more funding, and if they are to go out and raise fund, that most probably they go into the early stage. Angel investors play a role here as well. Investment anywhere from 50 to 2, 3, 4, 500,000. I've known people putting in money close to $1 million. And at this stage, the startup probably will be worth between 3 to 10 million total valuation of the company, and they will probably be raising 5, 10 to 20% in this particular early stage round. Further than that is when the VC banks, other big boys, family officers, and all that private equity that will be coming in. And the next one is, of course, the exit. So if I can just move on to the next slide, this is will give you a better flavor of what I'm talking about. So you only see one red color bold there, right? This is the stage where a startup started off the company. And from the first day of a startup starting off, it will go down, So what it meant is that they actually burning money, And the day when it touched the bottom and start going out is when business start to work, and the startup start to grow, right? So angel investors' money are mostly pumped in at this particular stage. High risk, you also can say in high return. And then if you move to the next quadrant there, you see that's where the VC normally plays a role here. It's also a stage where early stage angel investors could exit, right? It's not necessarily that you exit through IPOs, or sale or something like that. It could be an exit through VC that takes over your shares. So this is the stages where, another name they call it, the first, second, third, mezzanine, and all that. It's called Series A, B, C, D. If you look at Grab, I think they call it
G.
G or H, something like this. Huh? And finally, all the way to the right is when you do your IPO or when you exit the market for the investors. Huh? So I think by now you have got a pretty good flavor of what I'm talking about, where the angels play a role, and how they go about doing their investing in this particular startup space. So if I could just move on to the next slide, I would like to introduce a little bit about MBank. To me, it's important because if you want to get involved into, you want to be aspiring, if you aspire to be an angel investors, if you want to put your money down and be not an aspired angel investor, be a real angel investor, I think the first right step for you to do will be to join MBank. We have a lot of support that we provide to the angel investors. So basically, MBank is an official trade association and a governing body for the angel investors and angel clubs in Malaysia. So our vision is to be the platform and voice for making angel investing mainstream in Malaysia here. I'll share a little bit more about that later on. So what is our role? Our role is, number one, is to be with the government. We do a lot of policy lobbying work with the government in order to support the startup industry. I'll share one of it, which I mentioned just now, is regards to the tax incentives. Second, we are an ecosystem enablers. So we provide expert support, we provide education, we provide awareness program. We also funnel deal flows or what we call it, the curated startups to our members to invest in. All right. In addition to that, we also support the startups itself by investing in them, by also educating them on how to approach the angel investors. And lastly, there, of course, is for the investors itself. We do lots of, we call it the holistic engagement and representation in both, as I mentioned earlier, the policies, new flows, and network plus education. So saying that, let me just move to the next slide, where I will, this is basically the team. I will just skip that through. They are the council member of MBank. And let me quickly jump into the tax incentives. I think that is something that will interest you. So with regards to the tax incentives, this is the big picture. So what is the angel tax incentives? Is a maximum of 500,000 per annum that you could claim on your taxable income. This is an initiative by the Malaysian government to encourage early stage investment by the private sector. Private sector here means individuals. So we got this going in 2013, where you get a tax break of 500,000 per annum, but with a minimum of 5,000. So if your investment is less than 5,000, I'm sorry, you're not able to claim it. And the investment must be made in cash, paid in full, in the form of an ordinary share. And to ensure you invest correctly, and this is one thing that I agree with the Malaysian government, you should not own more than 30% of the company's equity per company. And they are only for investment into the tech startups. And you need to hold them for at least 2 years. So if you invest 500,000 per year, whatever you invest 500,000 this year, you can claim in the year after on the third year. This is to ensure that you don't put in money and take it out at the same time and claim the tax. So yeah, so saying that, let me just move on and just now I mentioned who the angel investor is, right? This will also give you a flavor of who an angel investor is. So to be eligible for the tax incentives, an individual has to be a high net worth individual. So you must be, in the first quadrant there, you must be able to prove that you are worth with an asset of at least 3 million, not including the house that you are residing in. Or second, in the second quadrant there, you can be a high income earner, where personally you earn 180,000. You can prove that through your EA form, or with your spouse is 250,000 for the last 12 months income. And the third quadrant, you must be a Malaysian tax resident. It's actually quite obvious, if you don't earn income here, there's nothing you can claim anyway. You can be an angel investor, but you cannot claim on these tax incentives. So additional criteria, let me just quickly run through them. Investee company, they must be 51% Malaysian owned, incorporated in Malaysia, core business in the qualifying activities. Cumulative revenues mustn't be more than 5 million, and in operation for less than 3 years. You should not be winded up or liquidated during these 3 years, and you have been continued in operations for 2 years, and that's the reason for the third year to claim. Other than that, you mustn't. The investor mustn't be a family members of the investee company, holding for 2 years, no more than 30%, minimum 5,000 taxable claim income, up to a maximum of 500,000 per year every year, and pay in cash, and hold the share as in ordinary shares. So next slide will basically show you the qualifying activities. It means the industry of the startup that you are invested in. I will not go through them. So if I could just skip this particular slide. So this is the good news. If you think that tax incentive is a good news, this is a even better good news. To be a qualified angel investor, we call it the accredited angel investor, which also qualifies you for the tax incentives. You just need to make an application to MBank. We work together with Cradle as our secretariat office, and we will do the approval and provide you with a cert. Yeah. If you are an individual applicant, it just costs 800 ringgit, and it's for 2 years. And if you are an Angel Club members, it's 50% off, that just 400 ringgit. But you can also apply without accreditation. Without accreditation here means that you want to be an angel members, you want to be a MBank angel members, but you are not interested to claim the tax incentive. Let's say you are filthy rich, or you do not have any more income but tons of cash in the bank. You might join as an non-accredited member, just to learn about angel investing. So that is basically about the tax incentive and being a member of MBank.
Alan, can I just ask?
Yes, please.
Before you continue, if a person does not qualify for high net worth or the joint with the spouse, does joining a MBank, for example, actually accredit them for the tax incentive?
No, it will not accredit you. Accredited means that you are qualified for the tax incentives.
Okay.
All right. And there is a good reason why government does this. Because this is a high risk. You need to be very well educated. So just like the leap market, which I listened into one of your earlier talks, that only the high net worth individuals are qualified for that. It's the same purpose here.
Oh, same. Okay.
Right. So to be an accredited angel investor, you have to provide the documents, right? And who approves the accreditation? Who gives the approval? The government?
No, the GLCs are Cradle, if you have heard of Cradle.
Yep.
So MBank is an association. We do not handle such kind of documents because it's quite private, right? So it's handled by Cradle, and Cradle will do all the approvals and all that. And they will also be the one that keeps your data, so that PDPA is fully complied.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. All right. If I can just move on.
Sure. Please go ahead.
Yes. To the next slide, and this is with regards to the overview of angel investment in Malaysia. So this is not my area of expertise. Peter, being the ex-PwC big boss there, I think is the right guy to share with you some of these charts and all that. So if I just hand over to Peter for that.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Alan. I only got about 60 slides. No, just joking. Just about 6 or 7 slides, just to give you an overview in terms of what is the angel investment situation in Malaysia. I actually culled this from a report which was done by the Asian Institute of Finance about a year and a half ago. So we normally commission this study to give a flavor and also to know what's the status of the angel investments in Malaysia. So if we look at the accredited angels, which Alan talks about, which are members of MBank and high net worth individuals, they number about 200 and, well, as of today, 284. Okay, then we have got accredited investee companies. You see, when Alan mentioned about the fact that you want to claim the 280 people, they want to claim tax incentive, the company they are investing in must also be accredited. Okay, so at the moment there are about 79 investee companies. Okay, so of that, if we look at the number of accredited angels, the number of investment deals that they have put in is about 74. Okay, and you will see the next slides. You will see the numbers coming up, and this is from the angel. We call it the Angel Tax Incentive Office by Cradle. If we look at the profile of angel investors, if we look at on the left-hand side, this gives you the statistics from the statistics department. Say this is the profile of adults in Malaysia. Good news, 50-50, female and male, 50-50. So nobody is disadvantaged here. If you look at the profile of angel investors, you will see that it's quite male dominated. Yeah, 71% of the angels are the guys. And if you look at the profile, what age are there? If you look at the yellow and the red, easily 60+% are between 36 years old to about 50 years old. Okay, and which we look at what are their profile, their background. Now that we know the age, the business, what is the occupation, is mainly professionals. Okay, business owners, senior management, mid management, and most of them are educated in that sense. They have got either a diploma, bachelor's, or even postgraduate in that sense. So you can see that the profile, because of the riskiness, the government is also wanting to say, look, if I'm going to give you, it must be those people who are a bit in the know of what they're going to put their money into, because of the high risk, where Alan talked about the red curve on the curve. They call it the valley of death. So if the startup don't pull through, they just die there. So if we look at the other side of it, you will have heard about the ECF, the equity crowdfunding. Is a process whereby people, i.e. the crowd, like you and me, can invest in early stage unlisted companies in exchange for shares. This is a report which is as of December. At the moment for ECF, equity crowdfunding, there has been about 70 successful campaigns. That means issuance. Normally they would issue minimum of 50,000 and up to a maximum of 5 million. Now because of the COVID cases and all that stuff, the government has now lifted that ECF now can raise up to 10 million. Okay, so if we look at the profile of it, most of the ECF issuance are in the tech sector, where 75 of them are in tech sector. But you also hear some people raise for restaurants and so on and so forth. So there are non-tech investments being raised, or money being raised on that score. But by and large, the amounts are quite small, so that the investors can be many, because the rationale behind it is to get the crowd to invest in the smaller chunks. So most of the issuers, they raise about less than about 500,000. So now we look at the investor, because it's for the crowd. It's no surprise that if you look at the pie on the right hand side, you see majority are the retail investors like you and me. And of course, the sophisticated and the angels with a balance. But the takeaway from this slide is that this industry is really booming. As of last month, it was about 89 successful campaigns, and they have raised close to 80 million already. So it's growing about 15 to 20% per year, especially in this space. Yeah. So this is the snapshot of, yes, there is also the ECF is another platform where investors like you and me can invest into this startup space and still get tax deduction up to 500,000. Okay. Now, if we look at this is quite an important one, which I wanted to highlight, is because when we did that study, we look at how people invest. We always say look at the customer, right? So how does the customer invest? Actually, the motivations behind why they invest in a group. If you look at the blue chart, right, co-investment with 3+ angels, 2+ angels, and 1+ angel, one other angel, that forms the majority of it. Okay, because 73% of angels prefer to co-invest with their fellow investors. Why? Because this is a high risk, right? And sometimes your friend may be in it. You say, hey, how? Can you teach me what is the risk and all? So they feel more comfortable if they invest as a cohort, okay, and also to assess and to pool the funds together. Remember, this can be a small investment all the way to the large investments. Well, of course, you have this solo guy where Alan said a few million to spare, so he could be the funny guy which has got a solo in investment. These are the guys who may know and more experience in this field. So the takeaway from this slide is that people feel more comfortable to invest together. That is why in Alan's slide, you will see there was an angel club, because people feel that, hey, let's form a club of 5 people. Let's invest together in this space. Yeah. If we look at the total investments, just to give you a flavor of the quantum, you look at from left to right, most of the investments are rather small, okay, up to about 50,000. Then it goes up from 50 to 100 at 15%, 12%, 14%. The median value is around 212,000 K. And if you're investing less than within 2 years, it's about 62,000. But when you're investing for the longer cycle, then it's about 450,000. So if you look at it, of course, it gets lower. And then if you're that guy who has got a lot of money, maybe you are sitting at the highest range of 7.5 to 10 million. Not many people are in that space. But having said that, we see that corporate officers coming into this space, like family offices, their family is rich, they set up a company and try to invest. But these are not angels. Angels are individuals. Yeah. So if we look at the top sectors for angel investments, because of the profile, most of them, they want to, why angels invest is because they want to make money. Secondly is maybe they want to learn. And thirdly is, for the rich guys, they may say, hey, I want to help this guy out. Or, hey, you know what? I want to help the world, because there are some social type of startups. Yeah. But by and large, when we ask all the sample of angel investors, for close to 100 over people, the last survey we did, we asked them what was the main area. Not surprising, technology and IT, because some of them look for returns. So the quickest one and most scalable is actually the technology and IT. Then comes the food and beverage at 38%. You will see the 48, 38, you add quite a lot, more than 100%, because one angel may invest in a few industries, right? So the most of them, they put their money in technology and IT, but quite a bit also in F&B. But within the F&B, of the 38%, 5% of them are actually in the technology-enabled F&B startups. So this gives you a big flavor and also a broad range that, yes, there's a lot of angels, busy angels in Malaysia. Yeah. So there's easily, I think, Alan, I think about 4,000 or 5,000, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, so 4,000 or 5,000 angels. So this is my last slide, because we said that we wanted to devote a lot more time to the sharing and Q&A. Yeah. So if we look at Mbands pitching, what we do is that every last Friday of the month, we will curate a list of maybe 5, 6, or 7 startups which are of quality, and we will showcase them. Now with COVID, we are showcasing them online. So the last one, we had close to 200 people logging in from also ASEAN countries. So if we look at this, every month we have got 6 or 7 or 8 startups. We did this in 2015, 16, 17, 18. So far for 2018, we did 79, and happily about 25% of them have been funded. So yeah, so that is our little advertisement, if you like, as to why you should listen to us in some ways, yeah, and also maybe join. Yeah, so that's my last slide. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Now, before we continue with the questions, if you guys have any questions, you can ask those questions right now to Peter and to Alan so that they can answer. But before we go on, we'll just basically want to find out from you guys, right? Before you attend today's Coffee Time session, have you heard about angel investing, or do you know about angel investing? So we're going to have a poll coming. The question is going to come out right to your screen. You just have to answer yes or no. So to basically gauge and see whether you've heard about angel investing. All right. Okay, we'll go to Q&A. But before that, I have a question for you guys as well. We talk about companies that wants to get funded, right? Do you do any? I mean, how do they get into that platform? Right? How can they get? How do they get the access to angel investors?
Me.
Maybe I can take that. In the case of Malaysia, there is quite a few platforms for startups to reach out to angel investors. So one of the more common one is we call it the ECF, the Equity Crowdfunding. In Malaysia, we have 10 license holder, and each of them are quite busy publishing startups in their own way to attract investors. So that's one of it. Second of it is that there is also quite a few angel network or angel clubs in Malaysia that also has their own groups of angel investors, and they too attract quite a lot of startups with them. Upon careful curation, they will be, introducing them to their angel investors for the funding. In addition to that, we have the government agencies. I'm sure you heard of Magic. Magic does about a couple of 100 startups a year, and they too have what they call it the demo day in a year, 2-3 times, where they will feature all their startups which they have been working with. And basically the audience are the angel investors, VCs, or some individuals, retail investor, we call it as well. So yeah, the ecosystem is, I must say, is quite vibrant, but it is still a very narrow space, because this space attracts some very unique investors to come in, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, sorry, just may add. Also, if you are looking at the context of, let's say, I've got an idea, I would like to start, and maybe I need funding, right? So these are the platforms which Alan had mentioned, and also there are quite a few accelerator programs in town where they will advertise, like Invest Selangor. I can't remember which is the Selangor one, and so many other players. Well, next year is one of us who we always normally run accelerator programs. So what they do is they will apply and give us the business idea, and yeah, we chat. So there are a lot of programs out there to help get startups funded. Yeah.
All right. So if one, this is a follow-up question. Actually, it's from KP Chin, one of our listeners. What role does MBank play, right? Do you do any due diligence, or do you look at a company first before you put them into the pitch deck, into the pitch?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, MBank is the association for angel investors. So normally we don't do much in the area of the startup itself, but MBank do have two deal flow venue or avenue, for the startup. One of it, we call it the enter the tiger's lair. So it's like the enter the tiger's den, right? That is the one that Peter has shared some slides just now, where in the year 2018 we featured about 79 companies, and in the year 2019, last year, we featured close to about the same number of companies. So every month we feature 5 to 7 of them. Those are you can contact us through our website, and you'll be invited to be the tigers in the room. And the startup that we brought in there, the 5 to 7 companies, yes, Benny, they are curated, investment ready to a certain extent, and they have specific amount they want to raise. Those are all being curated before we show to them.
So
we
a
have
bit like
another one.
Shark Tank, a bit like a real life Shark Tank.
I wouldn't put it Shark Tank. Shark Tank is really for show. But if you come to Tiger's Lair, I can guarantee you, it's a lot more exciting compared to Shark Tank. Because the startup there are real. The amount of money they raise are real. It's not done for show. And in the room, most of the time we have about 100 investors sitting inside there. It's not 4 or 5 people that are asking questions. We have 100 people asking questions to the startup with regards to why, or question came from every angle, with regards to your business. Yeah.
Okay, we got a couple of questions here. I think just to kick it off, right? Are you guys, because there were a few questions on YouTube and also on Facebook, right? Can you guys share with us some successful stories that you guys have invested in? Of course, Alan, you've been in this for a while now. You are very happily retired and investing your money. A good place to be. But can you guys share some success and probably some failures, and what kind of success rate are we talking about? And actually, before that, I'm just curious because there were questions here regarding ECF. Do you need to be accredited to invest in ECF?
ECF accept 2 categories. One is retail investor. The other one is actually accredited, and ECF themselves accredit them.
Okay.
And their accreditation came from our Security Commission, SC.
And there's no tax incentive on those, right?
There is.
There is, as long as they are accredited.
Yeah.
It means their accredited member come and accredit themselves with MBank. Yeah, sorry, Peter. Yeah, that's how we can do it.
So even if you're a retail investor, you still get that tax incentive. Is that right?
Yes, but you must be a qualified high net worth individual.
Yeah.
Or either high income individual.
Okay.
I think if
you're not, you don't get it, right? If you're not.
No. I think that they even limit you to, I think, maximum of 5,000 if you are not a high net worth individual. Yeah. Otherwise, you can go up to 500,000 and then claim the tax incentive because you're accredited, whether by SC or by Cradle. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So can you guys share some successful and maybe failures? He
will try the success because he's got the wing at the back. If you ask him to turn around, mine.
Peter have borrowed my win already. Peter, you want to share your success story instead?
I mean, I guess if you look at statistics, and let's look at statistics first. One statistic which we saw was that they said, oh, you invest as an angel, you will get at least 25% return per year. Then everyone clap. Then they said, oh, by the way, 90% of those startups will probably die. Okay, and you probably have to wait 4 or 5 years before anything happens, whether a trade sale or an IPO. So once we say, hey, that 25%, is it inclusive of those few? Yes, nice. So then if you look at it, then how do I invest in that sense? Because the high failure rate, it must be compensated by 30x or 40x. If I think there was one investor who got 30, 40x. So the magic is that you need to spread your risk. Yeah. Even in the survey, I didn't share, was that they say that you should have at least 15, 20 startups. Yeah. But if you have $1 million, you put 15, 20. I don't think you should do that. In fact, we always say that allocate the most 5 or 6% of your net worth for all this. So in terms of success, yes, we have seen 20, 30x success, but failures, plenty of failures. Also largely because of various factors. As you know, things like the founders are not good. They don't stay together. The business model didn't work. And so we have got. I've invested in 15. I think maybe 4 or 5 are promising. The rest is like that only. Yeah, like the COVID thing. Luckily, because ours are all in tech, in the technology sector, we are not that affected. But it's not like we're going to make big gains. They're surviving. Yeah, Alan, your experience?
I think the industry average. I think since this is an equity tracker show, right? I'm sure your audience will understand internal rate of returns. Investing into startup industry, the average internal rate of return is around 23 to 25%. Basically, an investment into a startup is a long haul. Most of the time is for 5 to 7 years before you could exit not through IPO, not necessarily through IPO, but it still takes 5 to 7 years. So if you work out the internal rate of return of 22-25% over 5 to 7 years, that is almost 3x return. Yep. So the 1 million that you put into 10 companies, chances are at the end of the 5 to 7 years, you'll probably get back 4 million. That will give you a 3x return. And that 3x return, as what Peter said, probably comes from our 10 company, probably comes from a maximum of 2 companies. And that 2 companies probably give you that average of 40 times of the amount you invest in. So it means 4 million, 100,000 per company. Let's say that 2 company give you 40x return, and that is 4 million, right? And that is how you got your 3x return on your total investment. That is basically the average both in Silicon Valley, Singapore, Hong Kong. To a certain extent, I personally believe that we do not have a figure for Malaysia, but I will say that Malaysia, we do not run too far from it. You know, so someone that have put, I know that some guys have put in into Grab during the very, very early stage when they were still known as My Taxi. You know, and that time, I believe their total valuation was a bit less than 10 million. So today at 13 billion, if the guy is still holding on to it, even though with the kind of dilution they have gone through, I don't know, maybe 1,000x just in that investment. So 30x, Peter is very kind, but I've seen much more than that actually.
Yeah. You have mentioned as well, Alan and Peter, that in Mbank you also provide education, right? Because if let's say an investor does not know how to evaluate a company, do you provide a kind of support and training as well to them?
Yes, Peter, you want to share the education programs we have?
Yeah, I guess we always say that before you jump into investing, you should have this education, and we have been running this course for maybe 5 years now, called the deep dive. Deep dive. So it's a 2-day very comprehensive training where we will bring the new member or even the investor to understand the ecosystem, down from valuation, which is very important, right? Because how do you value this guy come and say he's got 30 million, worth 30 million? How do you justify that? And how do you challenge that? So valuation, then the legal side of it, right? How and what are the not only that, what are the things to look out for from the legal standpoint, and then to look at alternatives of investment. Shall I put in ECF or shall I put in maybe P2P? So we have got all these speakers over the 2 days. And how do you manage your investments? Things like, do I take a board seat? How much investment shall I take? And then it goes all the way down to exit. So when do we exit? And how should we exit? So that 2 days is quite enjoyable but intense. Anything to add? Did I miss any modules? But basically that's the most hardest one for a person to run is the Alvin, this valuation side. Companies in different stages, early stage, you say, wow, how can you do nothing also got valuation? But the market is willing to pay that. So people don't understand. Then you have got, slightly mature and then different stage. So how do you value them? There are many, many methods.
I think maybe sorry.
So no, I was just going to ask Peter if did you mention about the module on portfolio management?
Briefly.
Okay. All right, you got it. Yeah. Sorry.
If we try and draw some parallels to investing in stocks, what would you say are the obviously, because we look at financial numbers and historical, and these guys have IPO'd for a while now, and there are prices to it, and now there's up and downs. But I mean, as an angel investor, what are some of the success factors or key indicators that may point you to the direction that this may likely work? Is there a guideline, or how do you guys look at it? I'm just trying to draw parallels because we're speaking to investing crowd, right? So because it's a different stage. So how do they actually? Because could it be applicable to stocks as well? Yeah.
Not quite. I mean, personally, I must say that it's not quite. Investing into a startup is a lot more science, a lot more feel. So yeah, for example, if you're putting money into the stock market, right? So profit earnings is one of the measurement, cash flow, not positive or negative cash flow. No. But when you are putting money into startup, I will just give you a very simple portfolio example where, if you look at my or Peter's portfolio, 10 out of 10 company has got no profit that when we put in the money. That's number one. Number two, 5, maybe half of them have revenue of below 50,000 a month. So we are talking about a very, very early stage, right? So why I say it's a bit of a science and a bit of a feel, is our evaluation of the company that we will be investing in. The number one criteria has, I think Peter will agree with me, has always been the team. So we look at the team, is this team has a chemistry that will be able to take the business model that they want to work on forward. And the next thing is that we look at is that when we look at the business model, we look at what has they validate, or what has been validated with regards to the business model. One major example is revenue.
Do you mean that other people have done it before, or what do you mean by validation?
Yeah, other people has done before. That is one way to look at it. Other countries have done before, another way of looking at it. But we would personally like to see that team validate their business model by the strength of that team, that cleverness, of that team. Because me and Peter, I think we went through about 600 to 700 companies every year. We invested in 5 to 7 of them per year. We haven't seen many business model that's not workable, but we have seen many teams, the founding teams, that it will not work. And then so this is where when we say validation, we see how the team go about validating their business model. Validating the market, validating their technology, validating their revenue model. There's so many aspects of it. Good teams are really good, really, really good at doing that, but some are really successful. So
Rarely,
team is number one.
I think rarely, when you see the guy pitch at our Enter the Tiger's Lair and say, "Oh, I love this guy." Unlikely. It's unlikely love at first sight one. Normally, you would court and then interview the guy and the team for about 3 or 4 times, even before you decide that maybe this is a good one. So we take a lot of time to get the validation. Validation can also mean that he tested it and then the customers like it, and then hey, there's a market for it. Nobody's done it in Malaysia, so maybe that's something we will bet on in that sense.
But saying that, I have to admit, sometimes I give in to my own guts feeling. So about 18 months ago, one young man who is in his last year of uni, and he's studying in Oxford, right?
Oxford.
Yeah. He was studying in Oxford in his last year, an engineering, a full scholarship engineering guy by Oxford. But he came us with this one business idea about how to disrupt the health conscious market, specifically running, right? And he still had one more year. He still got 6 more months to go at Oxford. So he said he want to start right now, and we say, how are you going to start? But you're still in school, and how are we going to guide you? Even we give you the money, and all that. How do you? He said he will fly in and out using his scholarship money from London. He will fly back on Friday, goes back on Sunday night. Monday go to school. Friday he'll fly back again, kind of things. And our guts tell us this is a super genius. He is a purebred or purely born entrepreneur. By any way you test it on his genetic, it's nothing but the test will come out to say that he is a pure entrepreneur. Rightly or wrongly, right before this COVID, he was billing 3 to 4 million a month. Wow. And that is 18 months of working on his business model. So yeah, we have put money on a not yet graduate. So when he graduated from our accelerator program, it's the same time he graduated from Oxford. So and today, 12, 18 months after working on it, he's running at 50 staff, billing 3-4 million a month, and is already number one in this sports health technology industry. So yeah, we have done that. So it's quite crazy actually, but I don't know. We got burned more than this kind of success story.
I'm sure you must be burned many times before you get the right one, right? I mean,
sunburn ready. Yeah. So
I think you can ask Peter his portfolio of 15.
Yeah.
How many of them burned, and how many of those are in zombie? And he said 5 that is doing okay, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean the rest is zombie already. I mean, but sometimes you just need to coach. So what we do is, as angel investors, normally we also coach these startups and give them business links and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So maybe one last question before Benny, you got something? Sorry.
No, I just want to basically share the results of the poll earlier that we had, right? Surprisingly, 46% have actually heard about the angel investing, and 54% is like half lah.
That is a very high number.
Yeah, I was quite surprised as well. I thought it's lower.
yeah, and in fact, out of the 46 that says that they know about angel investing, I would have loved to ask them how many of them have actually invested in at least one company. Yeah? But anyway, maybe some other day.
Interesting statistics is that those who are in Mbank Angels, they normally invest in around 6. Yeah, after 3-4 years, around 6. But the non-Mbank Angels, they are about 2. Yeah, around 2. And then how they come about that 2 is normally through their friends. They say, hey, my friend's opening something, or my friend's startup, come invest, put 10,000 or 5,000. That's normally the case. And in terms of Mbank, members, they found out that these guys actually have a lot of channels, at least five channels to look for deals. Could be angel, could be the platform of Mbank, it could be their angel club and so on. But for non-Mbank, it's mainly 1 or even 2 at most. So I would say that if you join Mbank, it gives you a broader perspective of where you want to put your 5% of your net worth. Then you get a bigger spread. And they found that the chunkiness of investments is smaller chunks by people like Mbank members, smaller chunk, because they're spreading the risk and betting for the best. But for non-Mbank one, when they surveyed, they bigger chunks, but in less companies. So the risk is quite high. So sometimes when you say, "Oh, be angel investor," we bet because sometimes the law of averages would work in that way. That's why we always say, hey, you may want to form a club, join the association, so that you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, so you're saying that, I mean, having a network will provide a bigger, or probably identify more opportunities as well, like, rather than working alone, right?
Yes, and they said that in the survey, they said that if I'm in consulting, so I will want to invest in someone in doing accounting or tax or whatever it is. But when you say biotechnology, oh no, I don't understand. I stay away from it. So with that kind of exposure, you will get an appreciation of what are the risks or what are the new things coming up. Because in the middle, when they said, yeah, I invest for money and I want to be an altruistic person to help the world, in the middle is a personal development and also enrichment. Yeah. So some angels do see that, hey, let them put 2,000 into this ECF and let's see if I learn this industry. Yeah. So that was the finding from it. It was quite rich in that sense, but unfortunately, I didn't cut out all the slides. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, Alvin, you have
if I can add to that, there is some science to angel investing as well. In the sense that, for example, in the case of equities tracker, I still remember Erwin was some time ago. Erwin was telling me that your methodology is being you call it, I think, value investing, right?
Yeah.
So in the case of angel investing, there is a science behind it. So Peter did not mention that you put 5-10% of your total net worth into the startup portfolio, right? Others of it you can put the equity, like with equities tracker and all that, or housing, commercial lots and all that. So let's say if you put 5 or 10% of your net worth into the startup industry. So let's say your net worth is 20 million. So in this case, you put 1 million into 1 or 2 million into this startup. And the science behind it is that I've always advised people, minimum must go, that money must be divided into at least 10 companies. Nice if it's 20, best is 30. From my personal experience as well, my first 10 did not do too good. I hasn't gained enough experience and all those things, right? So some of it I did it in a very gung-ho manner, and today, I stand in front of the mirror, I slap myself for doing that. But my 11 to my 20 doing well. My 21 to 30 is even better, because now I got a good feel of what you, in your industry or in your company, you call it value investing. So in addition to that, you should pace out your investment. Remember earlier I mentioned that the total time to digest an investment is 5 to 7 years. So that 1 to 2 million should be divided over the 5 to 7 years. So let's say 1 year you do 3 investments.
Yeah.
So by the end of the 7th year, let's say a year you put in 300,000, 7 years, let's say you spend all your 2 million. The first company that you put in start to exit. Then, your cycle, you can continue to invest.
Compounded.
And hopefully you're doing well. Then either your ticket size can go up, or you can actually invest in more companies per year. So that is some of the science and the methodology that you could employ. It's also, when Peter mentioned that our 2 days deep dive training to angel investors, these are all the things that we will go through with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right, Alvin, you have a question, Adam?
Yeah, I think probably I think there are quite a few questions coming through. I think Shirley, who just joined us, actually you can just watch the replay. I think there was quite a bit of detail in terms of tax relief that we talked about in the first 20 minutes of this session. In terms of maybe the last question here, how do we exit? If it's not IPO, how can an angel, for you example, you guys exit, or maybe you can share some experiences? How do you exit from an investor like this investment?
Yeah, Peter, I if I can take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as an angel investor earlier, the chart that I show you, right? So angel investor comes in the very early stage. As the company grows 2, 3, 4 years old, as the revenue grows, as they grow the business, they will probably go into a later round fundraising, let's say from the VC. So this is among the earliest stage where angel and investor could exit. So VC not only invest into the startup itself, some of the VC might want to buy out the early stage investor, which is the angel investor. So that is one of it. If it's not, later on, the management buyout that can happen. Later on, the private equity that comes in, the corporates that comes in. Then, at a much later stage, is when the IPOs and all that can happen, including M&A.
So you would probably sell out to another buyer, or you're saying merge with another company. Are these exits usually cash or?
I would say out of 10 exits, let's say a person exit from investing as an angel investor, probably one or less is through IPO. Yeah. So most of it is through buyout by VC, M&A and other things. And yes, they are all cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think on the tax side, if I may just go ahead, when we talk about the 500,000 deduction, right, under year 3, if you don't have any income in year 3, that 500,000 is burnt. Yeah, you cannot say, oh, I cannot use it for year 4. You can't. Yeah. Or you can say, oh, my income's only 100,000. I take a deduction up to 500,000. So the other 400,000 I take to next year. You can't. Yeah. So that's the one caveat.
So the third year is where you actually can claim a tax benefit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. On the capital amount. Normally, you invest in something, you can't get a deduction. Right? But the government saying, hey, you know what? I'll give you a deduction, but year 3.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Thanks. Okay, maybe one last question. We always ask this question to our guests, and it can be relevant to also investors, especially high-risk investors, right? I mean, this is a high-risk game, of course, potentially high returns as well. I'm going to tweak the question a little bit, right? So the question is, how were you able to sleep soundly at night?
What keeps you up at night? As an investor, as an angel investor.
What keeps you up at night?
Go first.
Because for me, I limit my amount of exposure, so I'm not so. I worry a bit, but but not so bad. But all the companies which I invested in, I know what they're doing and what they are not doing. So I have some influence, not control, influence. So if they're going to crash, at least I know, well, this plane is going to crash. So I'm expecting.
You're ready for it, lah.
I'm ready for it. Yeah.
Okay.
But limit your investments. I think that the important thing is limit your amount of exposure because it's high risk. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what Peter says is very true. But what is also true, what I did not mention just now with regards to my definition of the angel investors, chances are angel investors are businessmen that have exited their business, retired, or have done the handing over to their management team or their kids to run it. So these are, in fact, also happen to be the best types of angel investors. So they are the one that with tons of knowledge, experience, and so when they invest into some of the startup, they could actually guide them, right? Other than having lots of connections in the market, so they can help their startup to connect to this, to connect to that, and all these things. But more importantly, these are also happen to be the type of angel investors that do not need the money. so they can afford to lose it. So then, if that's the case, it also meant that making money is not the number one objective. Their objective is actually to continue to play in the field of entrepreneurship, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah, because they are entrepreneur themselves, they get excited, being around entrepreneur. So in this case, they actually happen to invest to, let's say, 10 companies, and they get excited, working along with these young entrepreneurs. So as part of giving back, from where they took the most, in this case, where they took the most was they made tons of money from being an entrepreneur, right? So they are giving back to these younger entrepreneurs, not necessarily in the form of profit as being the number one objective. I know because I play around with quite a few similar angel investors, and I realized that their motivation actually is not necessarily to make money, but for their startup, it's sort of to claim, my startup, I put money in Grab. I think they
bragging rights.
Yeah, you're right. It's a bit of a bragging rights, something that I don't know. It's bragging rights, lah. Let's put it in that way.
That's the word angel, right? So you're an angel to some companies that you're investing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We wish we could.
You can say that it's my money, it's my help, it's my mentoring. Yeah, that kind of things. Yeah, I think that comes out, based on what I found out, that comes out quite high, in the reasoning as to why they get into this startup investing. So for that case, I don't think they lose sleep over if the startup dies. I think they lose sleep if the startup cannot be like Grab, or
the unicorns are
unicorn. Yeah. It's,
dreaming of unicorns all the time.
Yeah, that's right. If it doesn't become like Alibaba,
All right. Okay, with that, guys, we are out of time. We have our Mandarin session starting right after this. So we have put a link on the comment section. So just click on the link to go to our Mandarin Copy Time session. Right. And tonight we also have our Mandarin session on price chart analysis. I'll be there at 10 p.m. on our ET online campus. All right. And one last thing, the slides are available for download. So just WhatsApp us at 603-8408-2070. We have also pinned that in that comment. And if you want to get in touch with Peter and Alan, the numbers are also in the slide, so you can contact them there. All right. So Alan,
actually, just one last announcement. Actually, Mr. Peter Wee is actually going to come back on Friday, right? He's going to be sharing what design thinking is. As you know, Friday sessions, we've actually reserved it for businesses. How do we actually help businesses improve? And Peter, as being an investor, he also coaches businesses as well. And we talk about innovation in times like COVID-19. A lot of innovation is needed, right? So one of the methods that Peter actually runs is actually design thinking. So if you're a startup, you're a friend of a startup, or if you're a company that needs innovation, I don't think any company today does not need innovation, all right? So we're going to have a chat a bit about design thinking on Friday night with Peter as well.
Yeah, so you'll be meeting not just a designing thinker, but you're also meeting an angel investor, right?
I'll wear my wings.
Okay, so thank you very much, Alan and Peter, for joining us tonight. I wish you all success in your angel investing.
Thank you, Benny. Thank you, Erwin.
Thank you. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Peter.
And for you guys who join us, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a crypto night. And again, Friday, we have Peter back to talk about design thinking for businesses. All right. So thank you very much for joining us and have a good evening.
Thank you. Welcome.